Matthew, you can go.
Okay.
It's hard.
You want my...
Thank you for stapling it.
You're welcome.
No one has stapled it all day.
Really? Even if they're not using it?
You haven't turned it in yet.
I was reverse.
I know that. How many receipts? Peer evaluations. You are. I'm gonna give you a staple.
Wait, you're telling us time, right?
What?
No.
You're telling us time, like giving us marks?
I'm giving you a
Peace sign?
2-minute piece.
4 fingers.
Oh boy.
2-minute, 4-minute, 6-minute.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Wait, is
And
it there?
we don't get off until 30 seconds after,
No, a few
after
minutes
6,
later.
right?
30 seconds after
Gosh,
6.
too many things are changing at one time.
I know. It's weird.
Wait, you're staying over there?
I just need more space.
Oh.
Guys,
She's the one that thinks me, I guess.
Everyone's so uncomfortable with the amount of
Yeah.
change that's happening right now.
Miss
It's
that.
always been this way.
We don't get off until 30 seconds afterward, right? After 6 seconds.
6 minutes.
I think it is.
Are you trying to push the envelope?
Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out anything that I can get beach, so I'm gonna try and do it as concisely as I can.
Do you get points off for like walking back and forth?
If it's distracting, yes.
How many points? Doesn't it be really funny to watch you have to like grab the camera?
Move it around. Walk
I
around.
mean, I'm not gonna do that.
I might like pull the chair
So wait, we get to see these, right?
Get the floppy.
Yeah, she puts them on YouTube. How embarrassing.
Oh, sweet. I'm confident in my speech.
It's gonna be an unlisted video though. It's not gonna be public. You'll need the
Can we
link
make
to
them
see it.
public?
Let's make them just title it like the.
By the way, the camera's going, so this whole conversation is gonna be a video.
Where's the camera?
Well, you've been listening to this.
That's not a camera.
What just happened? That was awesome.
What just happened?
Matthew just had a conversation with you.
Wait, what?
I just thank you for their time and patience.
Yeah, that's what just happened. That was the.
All right,
Okay.
let's get started. So I'll give you a 2-minute warning, 4-minute, and then 6. Okay?
Okay. All right. This is $1. In case anybody hadn't heard, we are currently 16.7 trillion of these in debt as a country. So how many of you have been paying attention to the budget debate at all? All right. If you have, you might have heard something about the Clinton budget surplus, which supposedly Clinton, in his last 3 years in office, had extra money and he began to pay down the debt. I'm here to tell you that didn't actually happen. And it's not just me, but government statistics also say that didn't happen. The Clinton budget surplus was in fact just an illusion, which was created by a complex and even deceptive the budget process that the federal government uses. Now I'm going to show you briefly how this deception was created by first examining 2 different types of federal debt, second showing that the second type is actually debt and in fact is sometimes doubly counted as income, and third by showing how this all led to what is falsely known as the Clinton budget surplus. Alright, first, to understand how this could all happen, we need to talk about the 2 different types of government debt. According to the Government Accountability Office, in their federal debt basics article, there are 2 different types of federal debt. The first is debt held by the public, which is basically what you think of when you normally think of government debt. It's like stuff owed to individuals or to other governments, things outside of the federal government. Then the second one, and which is more important in this case, is intergovernmental debt. That's debt owed by the federal government to agencies within the federal government. So it's kind of like them owing themselves money, but not entirely. According to Craig Steiner, in his myth of the Clinton surplus, he says that most of this debt is due to trust funds, which are basically agencies like the Social Security Agency take in money from taxes specifically for a certain purpose. Like the Social Security Agency, they'll take it in specifically to pay out Social Security's payments or to save up for future Social Security payments. And when they get extra money beyond what they need, they're required by law to invest it in the federal government. So basically they lend the extra money to the federal government for safekeeping. And generally it's not kept very safe because it's spent. But a lot of people think of intergovernmental debt as just complete fantasy because it's just the federal government owing itself money. it's not the case. It really is debt. For example, let's just say I'm making $4,000 a month, and I have a $1,000 mortgage payment at the end of the month. I know that, and I put that $1,000 in a bank account. And so I do that. I spend all of my other money, and then I decide I want a $500 TV. And I think about that money in the savings account, and I'm like, well, I made that money. That's mine to spend. So I take it out, buy the TV, and of course everybody knows the end of the month comes around, I gotta put $500 on my credit card to make the mortgage payment. So in the end, really, the TV was bought on debt, on the credit card, not on money that I actually made. The intergovernmental debt is actually the same way, because the money that is being entrusted to the federal government is supposed to be saved up for the future. But the government, when it receives it, promptly spends it, and thus later will need to pay it back in some way. It's just public debt on a time delay, basically. And so, by examining the Congressional Budget Office's historical budget data, you can actually see that the way they calculate deficits and surpluses is not by taking the increase in the debt, but by subtracting all spending from all tax revenues. So what they do is they lump all the tax revenues together, including the stuff that was lent to them by these agencies. And so they count it as income and as debt at the same time. So this is exactly what happened for the Clinton budget surplus. It existed only on paper, really. According to the historical budget data, for the fiscal years 1998, 1999, and 2000, it says that Clinton had a surplus of $69.3 billion, $125.6 billion, and $236.2 billion, respectively, for those 3 years. But at the same time, the Treasury Department's debt to the penny for that same period shows that the debt went up all 3 years, even though there was a surplus. And in fact, the least it went up was $17.9 billion in fiscal year 2000. Now, the Treasury Department's final monthly Treasury statement for September of 2000 actually shows where all that money came from, because it was actually borrowed. It was $246.5 billion that were actually borrowed from trust funds. But again, it counted as taxes, as tax money that was taken in. So at the same time as counting as income, it counted as debt. So in summary, you have the Clinton budget surplus didn't exist because it was actually all borrowed, mostly from Social Security and from other agencies like that, that are required to invest their extra money in the federal government. But that was counted as income. And just want to thank you for allowing me to help you understand perhaps a little bit more about an overly complicated budget system that unfortunately dramatically affects us all.
Liz.
I got a lot of stuff. What am I putting in this? Like, up there?
So does this just keep recording?
Yep. We give it to you.
Do you want this now?
My selection of main idea.
I didn't staple it, sorry.
What?
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 Huh?
Can you clarify selection of main idea?
Like, his 3 points.
Like, he chose a topic. Were his 3 points
Relevant?
appropriate and relevant, and did they help his speech? Because he could have come up with a lot of 3 main points. He chose.
I love handouts.
You could have handed out dollar bills and,
Yeah.
I could have.
You should have handed out dollar bills.
See, I only have like 6, so then I just start handing out 5 instead of 10.
So just borrow from someone who has a lot.
Why did you name me?
That
Well, this gave me until
Make
crazy.
a good demonstration.
It won't,
Well,
sorry.
this kid needs to quick.
JV and the
You should try. Please do.
They're done.
Hang on to him for now.
$89?
Wait, Liz, what's your last name again?
Cannon.
Yeah,
What's your last name?
okay. Compton.
Don't play this word, so you're.
C-O-M-P-T-O-N.
Your last name is Compton?
Yes, it is.
Interesting. Do we get the last names?
I
No.
didn't. I don't have a middle name.
There's only one of everyone.
Middle names.
I'm so excited about this.
You should be overly joyed to learn about Justin.
All right,
Spoiler.
ready when you are.
Okay. So what I've just given you guys is a ticket to see the one and only Justin Bieber, but hypothetically, of course. And for those of you who thought this day would never come, that you get to experience Justin Bieber, well, oh man, hold on, I got to turn it up. There we go. Okay. So, before you automatically get biased, because this is another speech I'm giving about Justin Bieber, the reason I wanted to inform you about this is because he is our age, and I think it'd be a cool experience for you guys to realize, like, someone our age who is actually having a career, and I'm going to basically explain what his career entails. And I am going to bring this experience to you because I've had personal experience. I was at a Justin Bieber concert back in January, and also I am a fan and I just know a lot about him. My purpose is to inform you about a Justin Bieber concert, and basically after the speech, I just hope that you feel like you got a glimpse of the Justin Bieber concert experience, even if it's just a little part that you felt like you were part of it. And I'm going to create this experience by basically taking you through the process of getting your tickets, which is a major factor, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Justin does while he's on stage, and then finally I'm going to explain how the audience is and the experience of that. So starting with the process, this can usually take a lot of time because Justin Bieber tickets, you have to wait till they go on sale, and people count down the days till this happens. And you need to purchase your tickets extremely early if you want to get a good seat, if you want to get a seat at all. In an article called The Prince of Pop that came out in June 2012, the author Ray Rogers said that Justin Bieber's first tour actually sold out in 60 minutes. So if you want tickets, you have to be on your computer ready to hit, or you need to be like out waiting in line to go to ticket places. And then, since your tickets are bought early because you had 60 minutes to do that, you then have to wait for the tour to actually come out. According to an article called Justin Bieber Announces the 2012 Headlining Tour in the Transportation Business Journal, his current Believe tour went on sale May 23rd, but his first show wasn't until September 29th. So that's enough waiting in itself. Plus, like in my case, I didn't go until January 19th, so I had a lot more time to wait. And then people think, okay, I finally get to go to the show, the waiting's over. No. You're gonna probably end up waiting hours in line. Even though you have a ticket in a specific seat, people like to go early, get merchandise and things like that. And then Justin Bieber's current tour has 2 opening acts, so you also have to wait through that. And then after the 2 opening acts, there's like another hour until he makes his appearance. But all that waiting aside, once you get to the concert and you actually get to see Justin, most believers would agree that his entrance makes it all the worthwhile. This is a picture actually of what Justin came in on in his current tour that I took. He flew in on these giant mechanical wings, and he was in an all-white suit with sunglasses. His outfits, like this one, definitely are a big part of his show. He loves to be flashy, wear all kinds of things that are just like very weird and out there, like those wings. Everyone was like laughing when I showed them in the picture. But he also, the clothes like just get weirder and weirder as the concert goes along. And then another part of the show is entailed in this article called Justin Bieber, and it was in the Daily Variety. And the author Matt Kimmel explains how Justin uses fireworks, confetti, laser lights, and other things like that in just the first 5 minutes of his performance. So he really, like, Justin is trying to get your attention that, like, he's glad you're here, and that also carries throughout the whole show. He sings about 10 songs, obviously singing, but one of the best songs, or believers think is the best song, is One Less Lonely Girl, and this is important to the fans and the audience because he actually chooses a girl, well, his managers choose a girl to come out, and she gets to be part of that song. So being part of that song is definitely something to look forward to, and that's why a lot of girls go. They get to, everyone hopes that there'll be one less lonely girl. And the audience and the fans of Justin Bieber are notorious. Everyone's heard of them, made fun of them, and other things. But they are pretty stereotypical. I mean, there's tons of girls everywhere. They're probably ranged 12 to 18 years old, and they're all screaming and crying. I mean, it's just like people say it is. There's constant screaming throughout the whole concert. Anything Justin does, especially like he hits a high note or something, It's just you can't hear anything. And the reason it's so loud and so chaotic is because he is performing to sell out shows. I mean, his first tour sold out in 60 minutes, so everything is packed, it's loud, it's crowded, but that's part of the experience that you get if you want to go to a show like that. Basically, in NBC's TV special, they summed this up. It was called Justin Bieber All Around the World, and it was produced by Ian Stewart. They show a concert that Justin did in Mexico City, and there was 250,000 fans. This is a picture I have of Mexico City. All this down here is people. So yeah, imagine being one of these people. Like the people in the back probably can't hear that well, probably can't see that well, but they're there for the unique audience experience. I mean, that's part of the Justin Bieber show, is just being there and witnessing it and saying that you've been there. So waiting through the process of getting your tickets and then finally getting to see Justin perform and then finally being able to take back that audience experience is definitely something not many people could say they have done, but it is unique in that, and that's what the fans are about. That's what Justin's about, is singing to them. So I hope that you guys now get a little glimpse of the experience of going to a Justin Bieber concert.
Alright, Aaron. Oh.
Let's go. Alrighty then, Aaron.
This is my first Justin Bieber ticket.
Aren't you so excited?
Cherish.
Yeah, that's like as close as I'll ever get to one of them.
This is as close as I ever want to get.
I know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the point.
I would be so annoyed if I went though and I couldn't hear him.
I mean, you can hear him, you just also hear like 1,000 other things.
I wouldn't let me hear it.
Like in my videos I took are like so bad, I can't hear.
Do you need this now? The outline?
I need to stay
Oh, this is
away.
a real ticket.
Sorry.
The real ticket.
Yeah, this I really want to bring out soon.
She's gonna frame that one.
Sorry.
Like, I'm not kidding, I'm going to.
Well, you see,
Tell me why.
my stapler was attacked by some people in the dorm.
You're doing this right now?
Large.
No, Micah Davis took the
Why am I looking at so
stapler.
many different fonts?
That does not surprise me at all. He's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Why am I looking at so many different fonts? We've got Times
Because
New
that's-
Roman, we've got Tahoma, we've got Times New Roman bold.
Thanks to switch it up.
Yeah, just keep me interested.
Probably like did it
this is
different like
great.
days, and so they chose
Do you see this?
That's bad.
Wait, I want to see it.
It is.
That's
Oh
awesome.
man, oh man.
Yeah, get your pop. That see the different one is a quote. So,
It was copied and pasted.
but I'm
No, my thing is like people always do that. Like when they copy and paste, it goes into a different font. I'm like, why
They
don't you
don't
change
change
it to the right font?
Effort.
Yes, I just-
needs to be done.
carried away.
It's all right.
You just need to listen to some Justin Bieber music. I'll be better.
You don't need to stress
Yeah.
that. I'm stressing. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
Are you stressed?
Wait, what?
Nothing. Stop.
All right.
God.
all right. How many in here have played golf ever once before, or you know? Okay.
Does music all count?
Nope.
No, just real golf. All right. Well, you three and me. Actually, this is an interesting statistic. There are 28.6 million golfers in the United States of America over the age of 6. So there's a lot of golfers out there. And I picked the topic. What I'm going to talk to you guys about is the 7 key fundamental steps that make up a golf swing. And I picked this topic because golf, it's a great sport, but it also can help you in the business world. In an article published by USA Today, written by Matthew Norton in USA Today College Edition, it talks about how golfers are connecting with their businessmen, their bosses, and their clients. And they're getting together, and they're using golf as a way to make business deals and, you know, get to know their clients better. And, you know, from knowing your clients better, you can make, you know, a lot more sales. So this is for you guys to hopefully encourage you guys to take up the sport of golf and use it in your business, you know, whenever you're using it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview the 7 steps, which will be your feet, knees, hips, shoulders, arms, wrists, and your head. And a little bit about me in this game. I played golf since I was 10. I was second team NCCSA All-State in high school. I played for 5 years in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And I was coached by Patrick Holloman, a PGA Tour professional in Raleigh, North Carolina. So as I said before, my purpose for this is to inform you of the 7 key fundamental steps to make up a golf swing. And we're going to start with number 1, your feet. So your feet, you want to have a firm base. That's how you're going to start. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to have your feet shoulder width apart. That gives you optimum amount of balance so that you can get your balance so that you can swing easy and follow through easy. Now, Mike Southern, he's an article writer for Golfsmith, which is his golf store and golf tips, he gives tips for golfers. He talks about how for first starters in golf, they should have their stance a little wider than shoulder width. That's just to give you a little bit more base. That's to help you like get started, so that way you don't lose your balance on your follow through or your backswing. Personally, I like shoulder width. That's because I just played longer. And also, you want to have your feet firmly planted. The golf swing, you're turning, and when you're turning, you don't want to lose balance because if you lose balance, you'll hit the ball left or right and slice it or hook it. Hooking is when you hook the ball left. Slicing is if you hit it right. I'm a right-hander. So you want to make sure you have that firm base. And you want to also make sure that your weight is on your heels. That way you can get more power in your wind-up. So from our feet, we move to step 2, which is our knees. Your knees want to be slightly bent. That way you can, A, reach the ball because your golf club is not as tall as me. I have to bend down a little bit. Also to get that trajectory. When you swing down, your knees allow you to just get down underneath the ball, which pops the ball up in the air, which can make it travel farther. And when it hits the green, it'll stop, better because it's coming out at a higher angle. So from our knees, we move to step 3, which is your hips. Now, your hips are one of the, I would say, one of the best, 2 most essential parts of the golf swing. Upon addressing the ball, which is mean you've got the tee balled up or on the ground, you address it, which means all you do is just walk up to it. Say hello, whatever you want to do. So, yeah. So when you address the ball, you want your hips, remember your feet are planted good, shoulder width apart, knees are slightly bent. You want your hips to be 0 tilt this way. If your hips are tilted this way too much, you're going to launch the ball into the stratosphere. If you launch it too much this way, you're going to hit the ball into the ground and look like a dingbat. So you don't want to do that. So your hips and your shoulders, your hips should be even, but you also want your hips to turn with your shoulders. They work, your upper body right here, it works as one in the golf swing. You want them to turn as one because it gives you more control and more stability. So from the hips, we move to step 4, which is your shoulders. And just like the hips in step 3, you want to have your shoulders at a 0 tilt. That way you don't launch it in the air or chunk it in the ground. And remember to move your shoulders along with your hips at the same time, at the same rhythm, nice and easy to get that ball going up in the air toward your target. So from your shoulders, you move to step 5, which is your arms. Now, I'm a right-hander, so my left arm will be straight, and with this jacket it's going to look a little crazy. My left arm will be straight, and my right arm will have my elbows slightly tucked in on my right side. And this will just, for demonstration purposes, this will be my golf club. When I grip the club, I want to have this arm straight and this elbow in, so that when I turn back, I create this plane effect. This is evident in this right here. You can see this guy right here. His golf plane is this green line. The plane is where the track of the club follows when you're on your downswing. And you see how his left arm is straight, giving him the club head way back here, and his right elbow is slightly out, but is still tucked in, giving that club the ability to get that plane movement. So that's very key. So with your arms in step 5, you move to your wrists. Wrists are, one of the second most important things in your golf swing. It gives you the ability to control the ball. You can put spin on the ball, you can hook it, draw it, slice it, whatever you want to. On your backswing, which is the point where you're powering up to hit the ball, you want to make sure, remember, feet planted firmly, knees slightly bent, hips and shoulders, 0 tilt, and move together, and your arms straight. When you get up to about here, you want your wrists straight, that way you're controlling, all right? You want to control your wrist. When you get to this point, you want to stop about right here. This allows the club not to go extremely crazy, because if I do tilt it way back here like a baseball bat, I lose all control and I'm going to hit the ball Lord knows where. And that's just not good. You're playing for score, not to hit somebody's yard. So what you want to do is there. And from that, you move to your head, and after that, you're done.
Pages. Good point.
Don't take anything to heart.
That's fine. Go many.
Same for you.
Yeah.
Well, I use you in this direction. Don't take anything to heart.
Yeah. This is about to go down right now. I'm looking at my after this.
No, I'm just.
You need sound statements or something?
No, alright.
Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry.
What's your last name?
Melvin. Okay.
That's fun.
Picture everyone's name. That's who's mine is because I'm writing funny
You left that up there? I know. Okay, I could do that.
Photo pictures.
It's funny because it's still recording.
I know.
Oh, that's awkward.
Oh wow.
You figure it out.
On
Sorry.
the full day.
Hey man, you see that dude back there? I think he might bolt to school or something. I don't know. These Indians are crazy. Yo, Jason, what's up, man? What's up, homie?
How you
You wanna play
doing?
basketball later?
Sure, why not?
I heard the new Eminem album came out. You wanna listen to that with me?
Yeah, let's get it.
Alright, sweet. Stereotypes. Stereotypes are beliefs about something based on lots of talk with little to no truth to back it up with. One subject that has plenty of stereotypes about it is this subject of Africa and 3 stereotypes. I'm going to talk about 3 most popular ones that I've heard, and I guess some other people might have heard. It's relevant to American students because plenty of them seem to get the wrong idea and impression about Africa. The stereotypes I'm going to clear up are not all Africans are black, they don't all live in huts, and the wildlife there is not as crazy as some people believe. I don't know if anyone here has seen the movie Mean Girls. I don't condone this movie. I have not seen this movie, so if it's against Liberty Way, just throwing that out there right now. But I've heard a quote from it. I've heard a lot said, "If you're from Africa, why are you white?" Now this sounds like a dumb blonde question kind of thing, but to much surprise, it actually has been asked. There are actually quite a few white people in South Africa and Zimbabwe and other places, in other regions of Africa. They originally came from Holland, which means they're Dutch, and they settled in Southern Africa. Including white people, there are a number of Indians, Chinese, and Chinese people who have come over to start their own businesses and jobs. For my visual aid, I have a picture of me with my black South African friends. There are. Another picture is my white South African friends. This actually defeats 2 stereotypes. As you can see, there's snow, and it's not always hot and desert like in Africa. So there's that. The next stereotype that is asked a lot is, do all Africans live in huts? The answer to this question is, of course, no. There are actually houses there that are they're nicer than houses here in America, believe it or not. They're more intricate and some of them are more intricate and just more decoratable. There are houses there, they have running water and electricity, but mostly in the city, but there are places in rural areas that don't have things such as these. The only difference between American suburban homes and African suburban homes are the fences they have around their house just to keep burglars and other things to protect them. Like even myself, I had a 10-foot cinder block wall with razor wire around it, just for precaution reasons. The next stereotype to address is about the wildlife in Africa. It's not as wild as some believe. There's not lions roaming the streets and in backyards and stuff. There's not hippos and elephants just, grazing in the backyard. And there certainly aren't tigers in Africa. I get that asked all the time. Hey man, did you see any tigers while you're in Africa? No. According to the WWFglobal.org, tigers are only found in the forests of eastern Turkey, Western Asia, all the way to India, China, and Indonesia. The most common animals seen are cows and donkeys, chickens, stray cats, dogs, pretty much a little bit what we see here, but more so not of the exotic animals as some may think. I know stereotypes have some bit of truth in them, otherwise they wouldn't be spread and made up and stuff, but I hope I have cleared up some of those fallacies and false stereotypes that some people may have about that.
That was funny. Exactly what you said.
Just mix clay in there?
Sort of. You'll see. It's fine. Okay.
A little clear package.
Where should I put these?
Yeah.
A child dies every 15 seconds due to a lack of unclean water. So, actually, in the time of giving this speech, approximately 16 to 20 children will most likely be dead because they don't have clean water. I know it's a very depressing statistic, but that's just the truth. I found that statistic from Wild Water. So I'm speaking on this topic today, one, because I'm extremely passionate about it. I'm extremely passionate about informing people about the lack of clean water in the world. And secondly, I started a company not too long ago that provided, our main goal was simply to provide people with clean water. And lastly, I think this is really relevant to us because we all live on water. Water is a necessity. We need it to live, we need it to grow. And so today, I just want to discuss the three main results from a lack of clean water in the world. A lack of clean water in the world results in people obtaining preventable diseases, a lack of education, and extreme poverty. People obtain these preventable diseases, diseases that are that if we could go to a doctor and get them cured, and it would be no big deal. Diseases that we're given shots for when we're younger, but people in foreign countries don't have access to that kind of medical care. Their immune systems aren't as good as our immune systems are, and a lot of it's because they're drinking this poor water. Common diseases that people get are diarrhea, dehydration, malaria, HIV, and so people get these diseases, and like I said, those diseases, like if you were to be dehydrated, and it was really bad, you could go to the hospital and they give you an IV and you'd be okay. But they can't do that in Africa or in India or in other parts of the world. And so a lot of times they'll pass out and die of dehydration. And a lot of times people simply die because of a weak immune system. And so 1 in 5 children under the age of 5 die because of a lack of clean water in the world. And I got that statistic off of Wild Water as well. Unclean water and poor sanitation are the second largest causes of death among children globally. And that was a statistic I got off of Charity Water's website. So I just wanted to share a little bit also about my trip to Costa Rica a couple summers ago, and just how I got to really just see this firsthand and really see how clean water, or unclean water, I guess, affected people. We had the chance to go up into some native Indian villages and just kind of meet people and hang out with them. And what we learned is that they were drinking water that they didn't even realize was unclean. Water that looked a lot like this. Water that you and I would never touch, you and I would never drink. And I did my best to replicate, from what I remember, the water that people would drink in Costa Rica. And not only was there mud and just disgusting worms and insects in that, but there was also, along with that came diseases in that water. And also they were drinking water that was had waste in it from cows and other animals. And a lot of times they didn't know better. And even if they did know better, there was something they could do about it. They couldn't provide themselves with clean water. They had no access to it. And so a lack of clean water can also lead to a lack of education. Children often have to travel 3 to 4 hours one way daily just to get water. And a lot of times the water isn't clean. And so that's 6 to 8 hours spent just walking to just obtain water, because that's just a necessity for life. And so those 6 to 8 hours that you and I would normally spend in school, they're spending getting clean water, which means they're not being educated. So they're never learning how to read or to write. And so the benefits of being educated, though, obviously are, if they learn how to read and write, if they learn how to be educated, then they can provide for they can get a job, and when they're older, they can provide for their family, and they can provide clean water, they can provide food, they can provide a home, a shelter, and also they can pour back into the economy, which just helps build the country. And then lastly, a lack of clean water causes extreme poverty. And obviously, like I said earlier, water is essential to life. Of course, food is essential as well, but water is even more essential, because without it, you're extremely malnourished. Even if you do have food, if you don't have water, people are extremely malnourished. And so 2 in 3 people lacking access to clean water survive on less than $2 a day, and 1 in 3 people lacking access to clean water survives on less than $1 a day. So if that's not extreme poverty, I'm not really sure what it is. But there are 2.2 billion children worldwide, and approximately 1 billion, so about half of those children are living in extreme poverty, and about half of that number is due to a lack of clean water. So just to summarize everything I just said, today I went over the 3 main results of the lack of clean water in the world. With access to clean water, diseases such as AIDS or malaria can be avoided. Children have access to education, and extreme poverty can become a thing of the past. And I just wanted to close with a quote that I got from Scott Hamilton. He was the CEO and founder of Charity Water, and it's actually their motto now, and it's simply just water changes everything. Thank you.